Well, howdy there, everyone. Welcome to Man-O-Rama. Tonight is a very special episode. We're talking sports because the NBA has the playoffs, NHL has their playoffs. That's about it of all the playoffs. And tonight we're going to talk about the life skills and what it means to actually get involved with sports and like how you can raise boys, even girls, to be strong adults when they get older. And yeah, all that and more. Funny polls that we got. Oh man, it's going to be a blast, and I can't wait to talk about my sports experience and everyone else on the panel. Stay tuned, guys. Well, howdy there, everyone. Welcome to the 75th. I almost said anniversary. I don't know why. I feel like. Oh man. Oh, you Tom. Oh man, this is gonna be fun, guys. Welcome to the 75th episode for the love of sports. Instead of for the love of God, it's for the love of sports. Because we all get frustrated with our teams that we like watching when they lose in the playoffs or something. It's just ring a ding ding. Let's go around the table and see how everyone's week's going. Mike.
Yeah.
How was your week?
It's going good. No, let's see. I had a good weekend. Unfortunately, I watched some Doctor Who, whatever. That was
Space Babies.
Yeah, that was yeah, God, that was craptastic. And then I watched a more manly movie, which was the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. And
How did you enjoy
dude,
that?
that was an awesome movie. That was an awesome movie. So
Nice.
men doing men stuff and blowing shit up. So it was beautiful.
Nice.
It's like a love story. It was purely a love story of how to kill Nazis. So there we go, because we all hate Nazis.
My favorite line in that movie was Nazi heaven. It was
Yeah,
just like
that's-
it was a line I was not expecting.
Yeah.
I think the Ukrainian leader likes Nazis. I'm not sure though.
I think he does. Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. But anyways.
But good week. Good weekend.
Nice. Awesome. Canadian SpiderMan, who is using what looks to be a hack, an axe,
Yes.
something. I don't know. You always do something that just ones up everyone. You go from eating Deer Heart live, which is pretty much I don't know any other show that can actually do that.
I've got another one lined up for the 100th episode, Steve. I just want to support what you're doing here and what everyone is a part of. And So I don't have a lot of wise things to say, so I do stunts.
Hey man, that works. How's your week been?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's been gorgeous here. Yeah, I got the last of the firewood in, doing some repairs on the RV, some automotive, and the garden is looking fantastic. So all the herbs are coming up. The peppers are coming up. Yeah, it's looking good.
Nice. Jeff, how's your week been?
Okay, we're at the 5-minute mark. Shitty.
Oh yeah, I forgot 5-minute mark.
I had to leave last episode because I was sick, and actually had a vomit bucket next to me during the show, and had to use it once. Then, because spring finally hit Vermont, my allergies are acting up, so I feel like I can't catch a break, and it's frustrating. But otherwise, it's been a good week.
That's cool. Tom, how's your week been?
Busy working on getting my book done, black and white photography stuff. I was donated a monitor, which is so nice. I got a 3 setup monitor now. It's like, oh, this is so nice. It makes things so much easier. Like I was saying, I can check the chats. I can do there. I might try streaming again and do another thing. So, but just working on projects. Going to do a short film. Going to do get my black and white photography book up, and that's about it. Really, just keeping busy.
Nice. My week's been pretty chill. Chill as in I did a 5-mile hike.
Nice.
Because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because I'm sending a link right quick as I'm doing multitasking. Hey. No, so for Mother's Day we did a hike with my folks and my wife and I. We did this pretty cool hike, but it was like 5 miles and I was beat. I was like, I can't do this.
Nice.
So it was pretty good. I started watching The Gentleman on Netflix. Pretty good show. Another Guy Ritchie show. Pretty good. Yeah, it's been pretty fantastic. Before we get into, because we're only doing the Simps segment, I'm giving Hombre or Senorita a little break. We don't want to rush that gym. You know, we want Canadian SpiderMan to redeem himself as a man.
Do we really?
That's fair. Yeah.
And he's muted. Subtitles. I can't tell the difference between a man or a woman these days. Oh shit!
No, maybe I don't have as much experience at spotting trannies as the rest of you fine gentlemen. I don't know.
True.
You live in the middle of nowhere.
It's true.
You could probably tell what a male deer and a female deer.
I have to. Are you kidding? How much trouble I get and if I shoot the wrong type? Jesus! They take my truck, my gun, my house, my weed.
Jeez.
That is important.
Yeah. I will say this.
Yeah.
So we do have 2 polls tonight, and I'm going.
I thought we weren't going to spot the tranny.
That was a good one. I'll give you that one. All right. So the first poll is I split them up into 2 parts. One is about teams and one is about athletes. And I can only do 4. And some people are already giving me their choices. Sorry. It's the choices are upon you right here. The greatest sports team, the LA Lakers, Boston Celtics, New England Patriots, or the 49ers. What's funny is Boston Celtics, New England Patriots, and 49ers both have 33.3%. Lakers have 0, which is hilarious. And then my favorite one is the greatest athlete. We have Tom Brady, Larry Bird, O.J. Simpson, and Bruce Jenner. Those are the choices for tonight. Yes, Tom, we see you loud and clear.
Let's all take a moment to celebrate that 4th person on that greatest athlete is now allowed to be called that on Twitter.
Hey, yes.
That was like, what, a 6-month ban if you didn't?
Aren't they going back to that? I heard they actually going back to that from what I heard.
Yeah.
So that was a rumor I've heard. It's like,
I don't know.
We'll test that out.
Yeah.
And it looks like I just got bot swarmed on YouTube.
Holy.
Anyways,
really?
Oh darn. But so stupid. Anyways, I want to get into one question and then we'll get to the Simps question and then we'll more like the Simps. Hey, how can we correct these guys? And I think Gary, Pop Culture Minefield might drop by. Who knows? All right. So what is the worst sporting event or game? I can give you guys, if you guys need a few minutes to kind of think about it.
Cricket.
You been to a cricket game?
No, but I hate it.
Well, okay. I'll let that. Okay. You found the loophole behind that one.
I did. It's not a real sport.
I would love for you to play that.
I would love to try.
You just like break your back.
That's about it.
Tom, is there any worst sporting event or game, like a game that you played or a sporting event that you went to?
I mean, I usually only go to events that I like and things. Like when I was in Vancouver, I went to softball. It was the Pro Women's League. I've been to NHL games. So I mean, I can't think of ones I've been to. I usually go to things I like. But I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, and I'm a diehard video gamer, but video games are not sports. They actually claim it's
Are you
esports.
sure about that?
Yeah, they call it sports.
I'm sure about
It's
that.
not a sport. It's not.
Yeah.
And now there's sports going into the Olympics, new things. I don't forget what
No.
they're not sports in the Olympics.
What?
Stupid things. Oh yeah, they're stupid things. And and I like skateboarding, but I wouldn't call that a sport in the Olympics. They're thinking to bring it in. I got friends that board. It's like there's so many things that classified as sports nowadays. It's not. It's
I will say I think video gaming is more of a sport than some skiing events.
Yeah,
Because
that's hard to argue. Actually, yeah.
Oh, and particular
True.
figure skating. Anything that requires a judge to give you points is not a sport because bribery and other things can impact that to the point where the best athlete doesn't always have the best advantage.
And it's been proven that it's happened with payoffs and other things like that. So yeah,
You might as well just take bribery and make that a sport. See who can pay you the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, is there any like a sporting event that you went to or like a game, like the
Yes.
worst experience?
Well, outside of personal things, this is kind of personal, but I had no money in the game. I love horse racing. Absolutely love it. But there is no event on this planet as boring as the Belmont Stakes when there's not a Triple Crown at risk. So if you don't win the Preakness and the Kentucky Derby, that third race of that Triple Crown, there's just no hype. There's no energy. I mean, you have your fake racers and the betters and whatnot, but there's just no gravitas to the whole event. And the one time I went where there was a Triple Crown threat, it was amazing. And the times I've been there where it wasn't, it just, you're like, why did I come here for this? And I love horse racing.
Yeah. Canadian SpiderMan.
Yeah, first of all, since video games are not a sport, I'm not even going to consider that. But yeah, I don't know. Any soccer game where the goal is actually to see which team can have the most guys fall down and pretend that they've hurt themselves. That type of soccer is the worst.
That's European football, you know.
Worst.
European football.
Like that, I've got no patience for that at all.
We need to include them into the Oscars, my friend.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Try to get a flag on
And
them.
I want to introduce everyone. Some of you guys might know Gary, the pop culture minefield. First time here. He's like,
Shut up,
Hey,
Mike.
Gary.
he's like, put
Hey,
me in coach.
Gary.
He's like, he sends me a DM because I've been trying to see if he can come on, and he's like, put me in, coach. I was like, done. I was like, just let
it's
you know,
like,
we're on
I've
Rumble
only had a few
Studios.
minutes, but I wanted to drop in and say hi to you guys.
Yeah.
'Cause,
So for you,
I did
what
want to
would be-
mention you missed my joke earlier in the chat because I don't know if you guys can read because I mentioned on Rumble is
We're close.
it's Dr. They Them.
God.
No,
I
missed
thought
it.
I saw that.
Oh, there it is. That's all.
Dr.
Yeah.
They
So
Them.
what? So
Dr.
for you,
They
what
Them.
would be? So what would be like a worst sporting event or a game that you played in? For you,
I got to tell you, I think one of the worst ones happened when I was in high school. And one of my defensive coach for our high school team had played for Army. And so we went to see the Army Navy game. And my entire defensive squad was in Jersey on the Navy side supporting Army. And it was great. We made the sports cover of the Washington Post for that issue because we were surrounded by a lot of hatred. And it was the most awkward personal experience I've ever had. Because, it's like there was a lot of hatred for us. But then some of them towards the end of the game, because, it's obvious we were going to win because Army's awesome. They started chilling out with us and being nice to us. But that's the most awkward for me.
All right.
I don't really care much what people think, so I don't feel awkward most of the time, even when other people would.
So for me, I played co-ed softball one time, and our team did pretty good.
Were you a girl squad?
No, but I actually played with two chicks who were who played in college softball.
So lesbians.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
But
were they hot lesbians or real lesbians?
I don't know. It's all I know is they can pitch a softball.
Oh my gosh, I've seen them.
Stupidly good.
You're talking fast pitch, right? Not slow pitch.
Oh, they said it was their slow pitch, and I was like, bull crap, that's your fast pitch. How do I know? Because I missed. But
you can't miss a slow pitch.
No, but to them it was faster, and I was like, dang, slow it down a bit. They go, we did. But there was one game where I got kicked out and I didn't know the rules of co-ed softball. It's a little different. If there's a female that's a catcher, you can't run the home plate. I didn't know this. I did it twice, and they kicked me out. And I told the you look like an Oompa Loompa on Krispy Kreme overdose right now. I was pissed. I'm very competitive.
You called someone an Oompa Loompa?
No.
I love that.
He didn't like it.
That's a good one, my friend.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was pissed. I set the not to put myself on a pedestal, but in the small town I was at, I set the RBI record. I said put the fastest people ahead of me, because if I hit, I'm like a sprinter. If I'm like, that's why I like Pickle Ball when I play it. There's some days I'm sucking at it. Some days I'm really good. My serve last week was phenomenal. But I'm like my wife, she's more of cross country type runner. I'm more of like sprinter, like let's do this, and, like the
less commitment
and everything.
Yeah.
And so they said, okay, we'll do that. And then I think I did 40 RBIs. Like, we were actually really good that some teams did not want to play us, because we actually had athletes who played professional baseball and or college baseball, and some in the professionals and softball. Like, it was crazy. And then we had one team that actually had a guy from Boston Red Sox and the Giants play, and I was like, this sucks. They're on the other team. I was like, dang it. But
oh god.
But I'll back you up on the women. Women can pitch in softball. Like, I've seen the Worlds. Oh my gosh, they can fly that ball.
Yeah.
Women are good at that.
It's not fun. It's embarrassing.
Did you get in trouble, Steve, for charging the plate or where you put your hands on her when you contacted her?
Charging the plate.
Because the other is even worse.
You body checked her, didn't you?
I will say,
I did the first one. She about took her mask off. She's like, let's do this. Let's tango. I was like, I'm good. You're about twice
because we are talking sports and now talking softball. Can we just appreciate for a short time in the history of this world that this week in baseball, one of the hosts was Jenny Finch? God, pitcher just blazing, struck out Major League Baseball players with her softball pitch because they couldn't catch up to it. And just absolute dime.
So this segment it's a fun one. Gary, you're going to like this one. You haven't seen this. The rest of the guys have seen the tweets I've sent out. You haven't seen this one. So this is going to be a fun treat for you.
Twitter.
So this segment is pretty much Don't Be That Guy, where I like to, where we make fun of the tweets and the comments, but we also in the way of like, hey, don't snitch. All right. I'm learning more and more. It's not women consent, men consent for a woman consent for a woman or a man or whatever, and the same vice versa. Or you consent for a TV show, movie, sports, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be anything of like what we talk about, like OnlyFans and all that stuff. Like it doesn't have to be that. But here on this show, we do that. So it's fun. I've already gotten some DMs of like, why'd you put my tweet up there? I didn't know. I Googled it. I've had some people get mad at me. I'm like, hey, it's not my fault.
Hey, once it's online, it's fair game. So
I know.
That's right.
I know. So here is the first one, guys. And I'll read, I think it's here. I can back it up a little bit so people can see. No, the bottom one you can't see. Hold on. I'll show the bottom
I'm
one.
old,
Right.
so I've got to squint.
I know.
What?
So
What?
this person said, I attract Twitter more during exams. Why hashtag problems? I have no idea what that means.
what?
But okay. This guy who looks like Michael Jackson and The Rock combined together with some hair said, you attract me more when I breathe. Why? Hashtag problems. She said, ha ha ha, that's whatever that word is.
Congenital.
Congenital, I guess. Thank you guys.
Yes.
And then he's like, he. What's the problem with what Nathun said? Tom.
He's desperate. That's just so desperate. Like, come on. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Exactly. Why? Ask yourself, why did you even leave that? Oh my gosh. That's just
Jeff.
Okay, this is a joke. Anyone listening later. The problem is he is breathing. Okay.
I would have meant it if I said that.
No comment.
I will mean it when I say it.
I'm not convinced English is either of their primary languages, so I may give this one a little bit more of a break as an attempt to say you make me breathless, but
Yeah.
it's still like CEO here on the YouTube chat says creepy response. I wholeheartedly agree.
yeah.
Yeah. Gary, what's your response to how breathless boy?
I'm just like, one, what does that even mean, really? What are you trying to say? That your breathing makes you more attracted to her? And her statement, I attract Twitter. Is she saying, when she's saying Twitter, does she mean Twitter comments?
See, I
And
think that's
is
what
she-
it is.
The world
think
will
Twitter
never
comments.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. She might attract the
Twidiots.
building.
She attracts twidiots.
know. Yeah.
And I don't even know what she meant by that's congenital. I mean,
know.
I guess that, like, his breathing is congenital, but it's technically it's a secondary process for the body. It's an autonomic system. So I don't know. Both of these people don't know anything of what they're talking of, and I don't think young people know how to flirt. Is the main problem. Yeah. It's like they
Trust
don't know
me.
how to say things to women anymore. And and if you talk to any friend of mine that really knows me, they will say this saying, Gary would just fucking walk up to a girl and just fucking start talking to her. And
Gary, here's
during
a
the
little-
conversation, he would shit on her verbally in a playful way and then go, I'm just kidding. You're not one of the dumb ones. And that's how I tended to flirt with girls, is to fuck with them. Because then they're like wondering by the end of the conversation, did he like me or did he really dislike me? I don't know. That's the fun part.
Well, you're kind of new to this. It gets weirder. I start the tweets off normal. This is a normal one. All right.
I mean,
It gets
he's
weird.
asthmatic. Okay.
It gets
Like,
plenty weird.
She meant congenial. Like, that was friendly. That was congenial, right? Like, not
That's what I
congenital.
think.
We're to assume
She said
that.
congenital. Maybe she meant.
Yeah.
Even if she said congenial, I'm
Still
like,
weird.
that's still the
Yeah.
wrong word.
Yeah.
All right.
She should have
here's
just
another
said
one.
that's sweet in a weird, stocky kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the next one. Did 150 push-ups today, which
First
isn't
of
a
all,
bad
push-ups
tweet.
is one word.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I have spelling problems, so I'm not going to bag on him on that one. All right. If I bag on him on that one, I have to bag on myself on that one. It's a
I'm a
normal
grammar
tweet what he
Yahtzee.
did. But here's oh man, then you really hate my tweets.
I like your tweets.
They make no sense. But this is where it gets weird. Wow, what's the secret? That's a pretty normal question to ask. What's your secret to get to 150
Yeah.
push-ups today?
Okay, what was
I
his
just imagine
response
you
to
under
that?
me. Then this guy goes, he
Whoa.
loses all credibility when he goes, I just imagined you under me. Now,
Ugh.
Gary, how,
Wow.
because we can make fun, and it's a creepy one comment. How would you go about, instead of saying what he said, how would you go about with answering that question? Like if you said on Twitter,
Like,
I
if
did
you really
100
wanted to start a conversation with this girl,
yeah.
you would actually begin asking them questions. Well, what's your interest? Are you wanting to work out? Are you trying to get a program set up? What are you focusing on? Are you focusing upper body, just overall fitness build, or are you trying to start to tone up and build muscle? Well, it depends. What are you looking for? And leave it in their
Yeah.
ballpark. And then if she talks, it's like, well, I'll tell you what. Sometime what you and I should do is maybe sit down, and while I'm doing one of my training sessions, we can do a video chat, and I can go over some of the things that I'm doing. See if any of that's of any use to you. And there, you've already you approach them about talking to them, but put it out there as just simply, we'll just be talking, and I'll show you how to do some stuff.
That is probably the best answer any one of us could think of.
Yeah. That's actually a really good one.
Mike, what would be how else, like on a different
That's why I have
Same
so many
question to you.
exes, dude, because I knew how to get girlfriends. I just don't know how to keep them.
Yeah, that's the real problem, isn't it?
yeah. So Mike, how would you respond to her saying, which isn't that bad of a question? It's not.
Do we want
No,
to keep
it ain't. Yeah, you just respond with facts, right? You treat them like a freaking normal human being, right? Instead of a constant piece of meat, because this is the
Yes.
quickest way to be blocked. It's the quickest way to be blocked. It's like maybe she's answering a totally legitimate question because it's like, oh wow, this guy is impressive. He did 150 push-ups. Like, wow, And yeah, no wonder. That's why she's asking, what's the secret, right? He could just go totally into, first I'd probably start off with maybe doing 20, and then I'll elevate it a little bit more, maybe after a week, and try to go for 50, and then up it a little bit more and go for, yada, 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 right? Keep on going and going and going.
Yeah.
And then, lead into conversation, just like what Gary said. And, that way you make an interesting question. You have some lighthearted banter or something like that. And then, you know what? Yeah, maybe if she's in the same area or something like that, hey, maybe we can meet up sometime and, we can talk about maybe getting you started on a program or something like that. And then if you two head it off, boom, there you go. There's a woman for you. But no, you just played to the lowest common denominator like the stupid schlub that you are, which brings into the entire question of whether or not you can actually do 150 push-ups. You just failed.
You
Yeah,
can
there you
breathe,
go.
Mike.
And by the
You can
way,
breathe,
I want
Mike.
to point out, Mike, you almost sound like you know what you're talking about. Almost.
I know. It's amazing. I've been married 20 years and I'm
Mostly.
fudging it all the way. Yeah, exactly.
All right, we'll get to the last one, and I'll get everyone's response
Oh,
on this.
wait a minute.
one.
I got two comments on this one.
Uh-oh.
First
Ooh.
off, because I got to go for the joke. Push-ups is one word, so we have no idea if Mr. Softy ice cream truck visited him and he ate 150 push-ups.
Yeah.
There
that's
you
probably
go.
it.
See?
And secondly,
Canadian- yes.
if I'm going to respond to her question in a flirting fashion,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it indirectly. What's my secret? Well, I want to present my best self to my future girlfriend, so I use that as motivation.
Ooh.
Ah,
There-
nice.
ooh,
Slick.
that's a ooh. Canadian Spider-Man. Same question to you. How would you respond to her question without sounding like a weirdo?
But yeah,
Like
the
us.
problem with this guy is, yeah, as soon as you put her on a pedestal like that, women eat that shit up. She will assume the pedestal position and look down upon you and never ever take you seriously. So you've just lost before you began. So what he should have said was, I mean, sometimes I'll use it personally. Like, hey, I'm not the tallest guy around, so I make sure to stay in prime physical condition. Work with what you got, and health is really important. Or I might go philosophical route. I'm interested in philosophy. I've read a fair bit. I would say, really all we have in life, when it boils down to it, all we have is our health. You take everything away. If you're in bad health, nothing else on this planet matters. Except of course, perhaps your immediate children. So I would go that route. Health is so important. Because really in life you have nothing else. It's most important. And maybe try and go the philosophical, intellectual way. But yeah, definitely not what he's doing. Definitely not. And give practical advice, And how? So, and he's doing push-ups with a heart on because he's thinking of her underneath him. I don't recommend doing push-ups with a heart on. No.
Well, here's a funny
I go
one.
soft, I go hard. I go soft, I go hard. I go soft, I go hard.
So here is one I actually like. This is a really funny one. All right. Because Pokimane. It's Gary, I don't know if you know who Pokimane is. She is the diamond in the rough of all simps. Like, if you want to find simps, the comments are great. There's another Twitch streamer. People are like, oh, do her simps. I'm not, because of the photos that are posted, and I'm like, I want to be like, we can be a little crass and crude sometimes, but it's like, I don't want to show almost half naked women. It's just like, you know what, we're adults, like, we don't have to do that. It's plus, if my wife sees it, she'd be like, what's this picture doing on here? Then I gotta explain
research,
it, and it's like,
research, honey, research.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's for science.
Yeah, but this one is funny. I love it because she said happy simp day, which I didn't know that was a day, but that needs to be taken away. But this guy, people in their names on Twitter pick names that people can pronounce. I'm almost sounding like Bill Cosby. Anyways, she said happy simp day. What?
This generation can't spell, so why are you surprised?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And then I main Ash probably uses an iPhone because of I main Ash. In math, my soul. In history, my queen. In art, my canvas. In science, my oxygen. In geography, my world. Holy crap. That just made me just cringe just reading all that. This guy wins gold medal of the day, of the week. In reality, someone who doesn't know you exist.
Yeah. Bingo.
So, there you have it, guys. I wanted to do that. I think that's funny. That's how you actually handle simps on internet. They don't know you exist.
That was creepy, that last one. Wow. That canvas one. And whoa, dude. What are you saying?
Now, here's a question I have for you guys. How long did it take for him to write that comment out?
I don't know. I mean,
his mom
it
checked
seems
the
like
spelling and stuff for him, I bet. Mom,
My question is, it depends on
Look at
can he
this.
type one-handed.
Yes, that's what I was
If I can do it, anybody can.
Yeah.
You know, the worst part is he probably has had that copy pasted in a little notebook file secret somewhere, waiting to use that on someone. And since he's incapable of finding one for himself, he had to simp online.
Oh, finally,
I-
I can use this. Copy, paste, copy,
I've been
paste.
waiting.
I will admit,
God.
in person with a couple glasses of alcohol in you, that might work.
Especially if you look like Brad Pitt. It's not creepy
Yes.
if you look like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, a lot of things are not creepy if you look like him.
True.
Exactly.
In person, in a proper setting, that tweet is not necessarily bad. But like the other one said, she has no clue who you are, dude. No.
Yeah.
Don't waste your
Exactly.
breath time.
Dude, you are a gallon low on a quart. So
Now, here's the problem I run into. I have to look these up. And here's the other thing. I'm gonna lay it out to you guys. If you see, we've done a few people that I know on X that we've used. I've actually asked permission. Hey, can I use like TD's? I think last week we used his as an example of like what simps are. He actually told me, he's like, I'm not simping. He actually explained it to me. I was like, that makes sense. But he sent it like in a Tom DM message where it's like long and you got to keep scrolling. Tom, you send a very long novel. It's hilarious. Because I'm like, when does it end? Where's the beginning? Because it always starts at the bottom.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He sent me a long one. I love it, man. I love
Is this in
it.
lieu of therapy, Tom?
Someone sent me a DM. I'm going to keep them private just for obvious reasons. But there was a tweet that we blanked out, and they sent me a DM. And like, why did you use my tweet and all this? And I explained to it. I was like, look, it's kind of showing an example of like, hey, this is not how you do it. And they're like, oh, okay. So it's one of those things where it's like I had to explain to them like, hey, it's not what you think. We poke fun a little bit. It's just for fun. Here's the other thing, guys. If anyone in the chat, anyone watching 5 years from now, or anyone on the panel, or in the Man-O-Rama private chat, if you see anyone simping, screenshot that comment with the tweet, with the comment, and send it to me.
Well, there goes 3/4 of our shows from Pop Culture Minefield.
Yep.
Oh, baby, I search, man. You don't think I don't look. I look. But here's the thing. I have to go on Google and search, and it's awkward. Because there's some stuff like, I am not going to use that one. I'm not going to use that
awkward.
one. And
I got to tell you, the other night, EMC, I forget the rest of his name, had Bush McFadden on Twitter, radio, whatever the hell that is. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I clicked it to hear it. And all of a sudden I found myself being invited on the show. So I get on there and there's this guy. I'm not going to say his name. I immediately blocked him after the show because he got on there and, EMC is apparently a military veteran. So we're talking military stuff. We served around the same time. So it was interesting. We had that common time period of serving in the Army. And this guy jumps on that was like, listen, he kicked him off. Get the fuck out of here. Because the guy was like yelling. And then he let him back on. And the guy was just so fucking weird, man. Just started talking about military guy who would just fucking cut off fingers, hands, ears, and all this stuff. He was badass. That's who I want to be like, cutting off fingers, hands, and ears. And I'm sitting there and Bush and the other dude go like, hey, Gary, what do you think of that? And I'm like, I'm so weirded out by this guy. I just go, I like turtles.
oh man,
they just started laughing. It's like I did not know what to say. I'm like, this man is insane, and I don't want to interact with him. I'm not going to respond with anything for you.
So when
that guy is out of his fucking mind.
So I have two things. First off, Canadian SpiderMan, what are you tossing into your bonfire?
Bad choice.
Babies.
I'm making a fire. It's getting a little chilly right now, and we could have a fire ban at any moment. I hear a couple of towns up north are already evacuated for fires. So while we can have a fire, I'll start one. But this is a woke magazine. This is the University of British Columbia. Look how diverse the cover is. It's
so
fascinating.
So diverse.
And
Oh, wow.
and so we're gonna start the fire.
So you're hiding in the woods so they don't come and get you. The woke
Yeah.
police.
University of British Columbia.
Which I got to tell you, man, the
Very
Canadian police scare the shit out of me. I have never
Yes.
seen people turn against their citizens like the police up there.
And try bailing
insane.
yourself out after they've frozen your bank accounts.
Exactly.
Right? Try bailing yourself out after they freeze your bank accounts. Good luck.
That is not a free
And your
country,
wives
my friend.
and your families,
we're not.
your associates. Yeah. Literally other people that weren't even there because they were associated, like family. Yeah.
So, also, before we get to the two main questions for tonight about sports, we went on a little tangent. That's okay. That's okay. It's one of the weirdest searchings for Simps is the Sydney Sweeney Simps. They're so weird. Like, I've seen comments where it's like, "Will you marry me? This is my wife." I'm like, it's a level where I'm like, I don't even want to put this on my show because it's just so. You just feel like you need to take a.
I like her body, just like any heterosexual male. But
don't get me wrong,
hot
she's
as hell.
gorgeous. But there's a certain point where when you read the comments, because I'll spend like maybe an hour out of the week looking for, because I try to do 3 simp comments and for the show, and to a certain point it's like I need to take like 5 hot showers and just clean myself because of all the weird. I don't know who let certain people on the internet, but you need to
how do
get
you
off.
clean yourself? This is something I'm very curious about.
Well, I don't know.
Steve, have you're a religious man, right? So have you seen the Korean? I think he's Asian, might be Korean, but he says, or maybe South African, but he's actually black, South African. And he says, "I have seen enough internet today. I must bathe myself, wash myself with holy water."
Yes.
You need that meme.
I've seen him.
Get that meme. That's awesome.
I'm gonna try to find it. But tonight is all about sports because it's the NBA playoffs. It's the NHL playoffs. My team could be Bruins could lose. I haven't seen the score. Celtics, they're going to the finals. It's inevitable. Let's just understand this right now. Celtics is the greatest basketball team ever to play. Sorry.
Are you watching the Boston game later?
Who, me?
Yes.
You got to look up.
I do if I was at the right spot, but no.
Oh. I have the box seat. No, I actually
Here you go,
watch
Jeff.
it.
Do this and tickle him.
Yeah.
I'll be watching the Celtics game while playing pickleball. I'll put it on HBO Max.
Then tonight will be good news for your team.
Who, the Bruins or the Celtics?
The Bruins.
You know, in the
Oh,
80s,
they did
I
win.
played a game
Thank
called
God.
Pickleball, but it was not anything like what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
pickleball. I'll tell this right now, right before we get to this really good question. My wife and I, in October, through our church, they started doing pickleball. And I was like, that sounds interesting. I didn't know what pickleball was. So I came in with kind of tactical pants and my boots. I didn't know what I was doing. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, this looks like tennis. I'm not wearing the proper attire. Turns out I'm pretty decent at it, even with boots. And so we've been playing since October. And I'll tell you right now, I get made fun of from Gary, Ambrosia, Andy, and all them. Not so much Andy, because I think he understands. But they call it pickle dick. They're just like, that sounds like a really dumb sport. I was like, trust me. I had a buddy of mine that we went shooting at his place. He has a huge property, like 25 miles away from out of the town. And him and I played against this couple who were in their 80s, and we beat them. We crushed them the first one, and we were going easy. We're like, all right, we'll go easy. You guys are older. The second game, I'm not kidding you. They smoked the ever living life. Like they made 2 points on us. We did 0 points on the second game. They hustled us so good. It humbles you. It doesn't matter. It's fun. Like you get some people who are in tournaments, they'll play like crazy, and you just want to jump over the little fence thing and just start beating them with the paddle.
Well, I will
It's
defend
funny.
you with Gary or against Gary. Gary's just upset because he doesn't have a court that was specially made for his size.
Yeah. I will say this. I don't normally jump into the chat as much these days, just because there's so many people in the chat. But John Chipola, or John Onion, as I like to say, because I think
John Chipola.
His last name's Italian for onion. He said, Regular Steve, would you please have Gary on the show? I'm trying to get him on to be on the show, and there's some updates on a couple episodes coming up that he might be showing up. He's really busy, and I don't like to take him out. I mean, I work with the guy every day, so it's like, hey, do you feel like it? He's like, nah, I'm good. Captain Onion. I will dig that, dude. All right. So tonight we're talking about sports and why that is a life lesson. And I think the show might go a little bit past 9. I don't care. I'm having fun, guys. Are you guys having fun? Cool.
Yeah.
If not, buckle up, baby.
I think Canadian
And again, if
Spider-Man's
you guys,
having fun.
I know
yeah,
he's.
I love being a part of this, Steve. And if you want me to just sit the fuck down, just tell me.
No, you're doing good. I love the fact that Canadian Spider-Man walk around. You don't know it. Like he threw it looked like an album, a vinyl record in there. Like I'm like, all right, cool.
Let's see.
The day that I see him throw in Ghostbusters 2016 DVDs, which could be hilarious. I just gave you an idea.
Yeah.
But tonight we're talking about life skills in sports, which is very much a life skills. How today's sports is it's not so much because it's all participation trophies. Like when I was in middle school, I think around when I was in middle school, like early 2000s, when they were like, let's give out participation trophies. I grew up like, hey, if you lost, you sucked, which means get back on the field and practice. Like, and it's okay if your team loses. You're not going to be the Patriots every Sunday. It's okay. You're not going to be Tom Brady, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. You're just not like every single Sunday, whatever sport it is. But there's some things that it's a character building. That's what sports is. It's not it's not I, it's us.
Yeah.
It's we. It's a team thing. It's not I. Unless you're Tom Brady, then it's just an I. If you guys haven't figured out, I'm a hardcore Tom Brady fan. I will defend that guy. I did not lead the Patriots when he left. I rooted for him in Tampa Bay. I was a Drew Bledsoe fan before Tom Brady showed up. So that guy is gorgeous. I don't care what anyone says.
Bledsoe was underrated. He was very good.
I watched his roast, and dude, Netflix allowed a lot of crazy jokes. Anyways, tonight's first question is, what got you into sports? It could be chess. It could be video games, Canadian Spider-Man. Tom, what got you into sports?
Oh gosh. Actually, my uncle. It's funny when you have an uncle that's only like 2 years older than you. He becomes more of my brother than my uncle, and he was a huge hockey fan and got me into hockey. Mind you, he's a Leafs fan, but I'm a Habs fan, as you can tell. But he got me into hockey, and then from there, he was also an Expos fan, and that's when I got into baseball, which is a team that doesn't exist no more. But and then. We could have won the World Series back the year the strike had. They simulated that, just a side note. And they were every time they simulated it, they beat the Yankees. But anyway, I digress. But
It's okay.
no, yeah, it was years ago, and just get into hockey, and then that's when Patrick Waugh, my one of my all time favorite goalies, was and watch him, and then we won the cup. It was at '86, and then again in '93, and then we haven't won anything since. But then again, the Canadian team hasn't won it in a while since. So, but no, it was with my uncle, who's like I said, his uncle's more like my older brother than my actual uncle, and he just got me into it. Just hanging out with him all the time. We were like really close, still are, and he just got me into hockey, and I just started watching it, and then went from there. And I played ball hockey a lot, and just
Jeff.
I make a lot of inappropriate jokes about lesbians and softball.
Really? No shit.
No.
But where I come from, it is actually joking because of the love. My older sister, 5 years older than me, is gay, and she started playing baseball at the age of 8 when I was 3. So I learned to play baseball by watching her play Little League baseball, and she actually became the first girl in the state of Maryland to make the All-Star team.
Oh, nice.
And that always inspired me. So I was, when she made the All-Star team, she was 12. So I was 7, right before what they call the minor league tryouts could happen. So I was out playing ball with her, helping her get better and making myself get better during the time. So it was through her love of sports that would eventually turn to softball and other things that she really got me going in the sport. So know that when I make jokes about softball and lesbians, it really does come from a genuine spot of respect and love, because while I don't speak to my older sister anymore, during our childhood, she was probably my best friend, to the point where when I got married the first time, she was actually the best man at my wedding.
All right.
Not too shabby.
Was she like, hey, bro?
No. She did more guys than she ever did girls growing up. So,
There you go. Gary.
That's me.
Yes.
So far.
What got you into sports?
Well, it was not my gay son. Even though, I don't know if you've ever seen my signature. It's a very artistic, loopy name, and my son was like, Dad, do you hate me? My son Benjamin. I went, no. Why? He says, well, I saw your signature, and it looks like it says "gay kill."
What?
God.
And it does when you look at it. It looks like my name, the way I signed my name.
Was that subconscious or what?
That's what he was asking me. He's like, are you trying to kill me subconsciously? I can't help that I'm gay.
Does he have a sense of humor? He must.
Oh, fuck yeah. He's been on Pop Culture Minefield. My God. We're sitting here talking about the He-Man trailer, when the first He-Man trailer came out for the animated series, because it looked actually good, despite the fact that it had a really gay song. And I said that to him. I said, Ben, you like the new He-Man trailer? He goes, I love it, Dad. I said, admit it. It's a little gay, isn't it? And he goes, oh, it's a whole lot of gay.
Wow.
My son's fucking hilarious.
That's good that you can talk to him about it.
Oh, I love my son. Look, I'm cool with it. He knows that. I was the first one he outside of his boyfriend, I was the first one he came out to. And because he knew that I'm so easy natured. I'm like, the only thing I said it hits me like a wet sandbag because I want a kid, a grandkid. And he goes, well, I'll get you some. And like 2 years ago, he posted on Facebook, tagged a picture of him, his husband, and their cat. And he goes, here's your grandchild, Dad. And I went, fuck you.
Okay, that's funny.
He's got a wicked sense of humor, my son. He's very
funny.
dark like me. But sports. Okay, so what got me into sports was I grew up in a household with older brothers. I had older sisters too, but I was the baby. There was 6 siblings above me. And my brothers were very athletic, especially my brother Mike, whom I was closest to in age and just until his death. I mean, he was like one of my best friends. And we loved watching sports. We loved playing sports. He's the one who taught me how to fight. He's the one who taught me everything as a kid, how to do everything, football. And my dad was really into it too. And so he would get in there, and between him and my brother, they're always coaching me. And when I finally joined a team, it was midget league football in Virginia. And did we lose somebody? Yeah, we lost somebody. Yeah. Jeff left.
Do you have to identify as a midget to do that sport?
Yes. And at that point in my life, I did identify as a midget, except for I had normal hands. And but basically it was fun. And I'm like, wow, that was my first experience with organized sports. I was 11. And I started really excelling. I went all state, all district for baseball. I even tried out for track, and track was not for me. A lot of my friends were on there. That's why I wanted to join track, because I'd be able to hang out with my friends. But it was terrible. I'm like, fuck this. There's nothing you guys do I want to do. I excelled at baseball and football. And I was okay at basketball. I'm better at defense. I have an astigmatism, and I have problems shooting too far out. I'm good at layups and shit like that. And I can dunk it. I'm 6'3", but it just wasn't my game. Football, I could knock the shit out of somebody. My dad, I think the proudest, and that's really what I wanted. I wanted my dad's pride in me. I loved my dad when he was proud of me. And I would come home from the game, and he says, I saw you tonight, because they would broadcast our games, James Monroe High School's games, if they were local, if we're playing local, on the local access channel. And he watched us play, and he goes, you hit that guy and you flipped him in the air. It was fucking awesome, son. And I'm just like, oh, yes, I feel so good. Squee. And I played baseball. I played Babe Ruth League and high school. And after high school, I tried out and I played Farm League for 2 seasons and got a $200 a month paycheck for it. It was pretty nice. I usually played shortstop, because I had quick reflexes, and I just have an arm on me, and just if it weren't for problems I had with my shoulder, I probably would have gotten more into pitching. But my arm, I don't have an arm designed for that. In fact, I can't even lift my arm anymore from all the sports I've done. That's as high as my arm goes, right there. That's it.
Wow.
Because I tore the rotator cuff, and now I've got like tons of arthritis in that shoulder from overuse, excessive use, and abuse to that shoulder. And I always tell young people now, if you want to know all the things that ail me, it's all from the stupid shit that I did when I was young, thinking that there's not going to be a price to pay.
Yes.
And my favorite one was I'm walking with a cane. I was having really bad sciatica. And I have bilateral sciatica from degenerative bone disease in my spine. And I'm walking with this cane, and this little kid's up on his dad's shoulder looking over his back. And he goes, Daddy, why is that guy walking with a cane? And I said, because I was stupid in the military. But it wasn't just the military. It was all those damn sports. And finally, I hit a point, though, with my dad, by the way, before I end this. I'm a nerd, okay? In fact, all my friends growing up, we're not like the nerds you hear about on shows like Big Bang Theory. We had good grades. We were top students. I was the 3rd highest SAT score in my high school. 2nd highest was my best friend, Jim Woodward. And we were smart guys, science guys, and we could talk the shit out of Star Trek, but we loved sports and we loved fighting. And I remember my favorite experience this high school guy was trying to mess with me, and a buddy of mine, he's messing with a buddy of mine, and I stepped up into it, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on here? This guy starts, and I went, oh, you've made a terrible mistake, man. He goes, why? I said, I'm not one of those nerds. I'm the kind of nerd that will fuck you up, and you won't know what the hell happened to you. So
it's funny you say that.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
My favorite D&D group I ever ran was 5 of my hockey mates.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
some
do
of the
not
biggest
want to mess
sports
with
guys
us when we were, yeah.
from the 70s and 80s, man, were also
Yep.
nerds. All of us were
Yes.
top
Yep.
athletes.
Yep.
I was all district,
Yes.
like I said, all state, and absolute big nerd. You could ask me any question in Star Trek, man. And it's so funny because a lot of my and if you go to my Facebook page is loaded with high school friends, people, and they were from every single group. The black kids, because I hung out with all the black kids.
Mhm.
The potheads, even though I didn't do drugs, they love me. They're like, man, he's so funny. He makes me laugh. I said, you're high. That's why you laugh at the stupid shit that I said.
Mhm.
I hung out with the jocks. I hung out with the what do they call them? Preps, guys that wore the Izod Lacoste and the expensive Converse shoes and shit. I was a poor kid. The most expensive was the Chuck Taylors I had. I stole them. I stole my one pair of Chuck Taylors when I was a kid. And then I felt so bad. I would do this after I would shoplift as a kid. I would immediately go back when I got money and I would leave it. I would pay for something at the register and then slip money. Like somehow in my stupid teen mind that they would know what that was for. Because I was a Catholic kid, man. I was an altar boy, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, and back then you could get beat. Your parents could and would beat you for doing things like
my
that.
dad,
the wooden spoon or the belt.
Dude in the army, drill sergeant asked me
Yep.
one time. He says, "This stuff doesn't bug you, does it?" And I said, "You guys are nothing compared to my dad. If I had screwed up the way that guy screwed up, you just yelled at him. He would beat the shit out of me." And then I would be afraid to ever mess up like that again. He would just knock the ever living shit. He had this thing that he would do with this one knuckle right here. And he would catch me in the parietal sides of your skull. There's a little thing called a foramen right here. And that's where all the nerves that spread out on your skull come out at right there. He would hit me in that nerve plexus. Every time it just shoot fire. And my whole body would go, and he would do the slap to the back of the head like the guy on NCIS would do. But he knocked me like I was training boxing because that was one of the things I really excelled at. I was a Golden Glove boxer. I loved pugilistic sports and still do. It's my favorite sport now. I don't watch organized sports much anymore. I'm bored with most of it because I don't like the athletes today. I think they got shitty attitudes. But I love the pugilistic sports. I like watching MMA. I still love watching amateur boxing. And God, man, there's just something gorgeous about someone that goes in there and does it right. They're not going in there to plow somebody's head, even though that's gorgeous too. What I love is those precision fighters that go in there knowing what they're going to do. And they've studied their opponent and get a quick, effective knockout. That's just, I don't know, man. Anything bring me to tears, that's one of the few things that'll do it. I will get so emotional watching a good fight, man.
So here's a question I have for you, and I'll get to the rest of the guys on this question. UFC 3, I think it was 303 is about to come out soon with Conor McGregor. Would you be down to doing a live showing of that?
Yeah.
We won't show. We'll commentate it. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down with you. Look, man, I love sports. And the thing that impresses me, I actually really love watching women fighters, the serious ones.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm so impressed with them. And I got to tell you another one I do enjoy watching every once in a while, tennis. Because it is one person versus another person. And I love that. I love that thing. It's sort of like, even though I agree with you wholeheartedly, gaming is not a sport. Should never be considered a sport. But I game. I'm a serious gamer. I play a lot of first-person shooter, Call of Duty. And people they'll ask me, how long have you had the game? I said, about 2 years. He goes, how'd you do on the campaign? I said, I still haven't played the campaign. All I want to do is get on live and put my skills against another person's. And that's all I want to do. Yeah. And it is exciting. It's fun to watch, but as a sport? No, it's not a sport. Please, it's like golf isn't a sport. It's just not. It's a game. It's a good game. It's fun to watch.
The thing about gaming is it's technically it is a sport with eye coordination and everything. It falls in that category.
Oh, sure. There's absolutely acuity plays a part of it, but it's the competition aspect of it is different than others. It's not you against the other person. It's your skill versus theirs when they go. When it's their turn. And I played pool's not a sport either. Neither is bowling, to be honest with you. But I love all of them.
Hey, here's the other thing.
Agreed.
If anyone's watching, these are our own opinions of sports.
So no. You've already agreed to it. It's too bad.
Yep, that's right. Yep, we are certified experts. Yep, in our field.
Sport is too much of a generic term anymore, where it should be sport and competition. Like competition.
Yeah, competition doesn't mean sport, but competition is definitely golf, bowling, pool, and I love watching those too, man. Great games.
And it's not necessarily a slam against what we're talking about.
No,
they're just a different mindset. It really is.
So I know a guy who ended up playing in the PGA Pro-Am. He sucked in the PGA, like the professional side. And he actually owns the Asian tours. Like he just was like, "Hey, I won this." And I was like, "Jeez!" Like right before I got married, he said, "Hey, if I'm in town, I'll take you to the nice place that we're at." Like I was like, "All right, cool." He was not able to come to my wedding, and I was like, "Oh, that kind of sucks." But it's kind of cool that I know someone who knows that stuff. Golf is a whole. It's a very different animal of training. It's a lot of years. Like if you want to be professional about it, you got to do like 15 years of just getting it down. So I get it. It's like, hey, to me, sports is if you're spending years perfecting your skill at it. Yeah, I'm going to consider it. Like I know they're trying to get Pickle Ball to be in the Summer Olympics. Yeah, should be.
There's a bit of look, man. It falls right under tennis. It's between tennis and badminton, and there's an athletic aspect to it.
Table tennis, ping pong.
Oh, and I love ping pong, dude.
Oh. So I lost the train of thought. Oh yeah, it was the UFC thing.
What got us into sport?
Mike, what got you into sports?
It's gonna have to be my dad. You know, being from Austria. I watched a lot of soccer, a lot of FIFA, and all the European, football matches, basically, because it's football over in Europe. So I grew up watching a lot of that and baseball. And, just spending hours and hours just watching baseball. And I suppose that's probably why I love summer a lot, just watching baseball, right? It's the game of the summertime. And then, eventually, like every other Canadian, hockey. But I would have to say baseball is my first, soccer is probably my second, hockey my third. But years ago, my dad, he would coach soccer at our high school, and he was damn good. I mean, shit, he was an awesome coach. And I didn't like track. I didn't like the fact of just running around. Like to me, I don't get like stuff like jogging. You're running just to, I don't know, run. To me, you got to have, someplace to go or something like that. I hate jogging. But when it came to soccer, man, I loved playing soccer. Loved it. Just the fact that I could just kick a friggin' ball like about that big and, knock someone just flat down on the ground, whether I hit them in the head or straight in the nads. It was just as, and I did, man.
You love that one.
I love that one, man. And just the fact that I could place that ball anywhere in that goalie net wherever I wanted to, make that ball curve throughout the air just as I kick it, and just to be able to have control over an object just by using a part of my body. I loved it, right? Just running around down the field, kicking a ball around, just manipulating a ball with my foot here, there, and everywhere, and all that kind of stuff. And baseball, I just loved baseball. Just being able to take just something so simple, a stick and a ball, and connecting it and making it fly through the air, like over fences or anything like that. Just
like
hit
cricket.
a grand slam. Like cricket, which is not really a sport whatsoever. British sucks. The British suck. And yeah, whatever. I don't care. So, but I loved it. Just being out in the fresh air and running around, and and the third one, hockey. I mean, my God, where else are you going to play a game where you have bladed weapons on your feet? And
Look, man,
hockey isn't the same as hockey anymore. It's like it's fuck. Back in the day,
I love hockey too,
hockey
Mike.
was just rough.
I want to say this real quick, Mike. I love hockey too. I've never really gotten into it like I've gotten into other sports because, it's mostly because, like boxing is like one of my favorite things to have watched when I was younger. And I went to a
kind
boxing,
of like hockey.
Well, I went to a boxing match one night and we were halfway through the second round and it broke out into a hockey match.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Two opposing sides beat the living crap out of each other on ice
into submission
and still manage to stay up. Like, come on. Where else are you going to see
I've got
that,
a question for all of you.
Yeah.
Hold up.
What is your favorite sports film?
Let's get to the
not a
sports film.
documentary, a movie.
So let me get to Tom and Canadian SpiderMan, and then we'll get to
know what everybody
yours.
loved.
I like that. I like your
Good question. Good question.
Tom, what got you into sports?
Oh, I remember I already answered. Yeah, but I do want to add on to Mike's though, if I can.
I'm getting old, man.
When he said about the blade thing, does anybody remember the Clint Malarchuk incident? That's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Blade to the throat. That happens.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll never forget that.
Tom,
he skated off
It
the ice
happened in
and
kids
lived it.
hockey.
He survived.
Sometimes
he survived.
kids hockey.
But they
Tom,
said
in my hometown.
I was so horrified by that as a kid that
yeah.
not only did I have the drop down guard, I had the turtleneck that went up to here, and I would even add another layer of padding when I was in net.
Admit it, you're also packing.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. It's one of those incidents you never forget. It's like, oh.
Canadian SpiderMan.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, I had a lot of energy. Nowadays, I would be on, I don't know what I would be diagnosed with, but there was 4 of us. And so my parents put me into gymnastics. Gymnastics to harness some of the energy. I was always climbing up trees. I think I was 3 on top of the carport in St. John in Rothsay on Iona Avenue, trying to convince my younger brother to climb up the, those fences that have the weave planks between, easy for a kid to climb up. So I was climbing on shit. So they put me in gymnastics, and that's how I get into. And then later on, as not larger fellas, a shorter, smaller fella with a big mouth, I got into running in the schoolyard, and I got into track and field eventually because I would run a lot being chased, and eventually track and then gymnastics, and I stayed in gymnastics till I was 21 and in university.
That's
where,
dude.
That's awesome.
Well, that's where the girls.
Have you? Too. Okay, so here's a question I have for you.
And then hockey.
The men's gymnastics. I'll say this about them: they're jacked.
Oh my gosh!
They don't do steroids. I actually talked to
no,
a guy
never.
who's a male gymnast, and he's like, "This is how we." Because I asked him, I was like, "How do you get them yoked arms? Just
I
what
guess
do,
it's the
what do you
pull-up.
take?"
And the
It's a different
rings.
style of a pull-up that they do, and I'm
Anyone
like,
that does rings, yeah.
and here's the other
The
thing:
Iron
if anyone wants
Cross.
to make, yeah,
Mm.
if anyone wants to make fun of male cheerleaders, here's the thing: you should just shut up. I know some male cheerleaders in college. Well, not now because they're in their 40s right now.
They get to look up
Um,
the girls' skirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that too.
Hello.
But a lot of the
Yeah.
male cheerleaders were college football players that got injured and they couldn't play, so they ended up doing that. I knew a bunch of guys who played for Missouri State, USC, UCLA, all these guys, and I'm like, how? Like, my only question was not like, what do you look at when you lift up the girl? It's what's your style of like working out? Because I spent 2 years working out, and I almost got kicked out of a gym because they thought I took steroids. No, I took creatine, and I was benching,
Yeah,
I think
different.
210 at the time for,
Wow.
and
Mm.
yeah, I was on creatine. I was jacked out of my mind. But for me, what got me into my sport was my dad. I played soccer, and then I played t-ball, and I just fell in love with sports because it built characters. I think soccer is one of the best sports. Watching it's just boring, but when you play it, it's there's something about it where you understand that it's not an eye thing, unless you're Ronaldo
Yeah.
or Messi.
Mm.
I get it, whatever, whoopie do. Or if you're Beckham, woo, big whoop, woo hoo hoo. You're a pretty looking little boy, booga booga boo. But like soccer, even baseball, even football, like those sports, even though football is an organized sports and it's all rigged, let's be honest, so is baseball, and NBA and anything else American. It's all rigged. We know. But something about soccer, everyone complains about soccer and makes fun of it. I get it. The whole acting when you get injured and stuff, like, yeah, that's all fun. But that sport alone, like, I was also taught by someone who played for the Brazilian team that won a bunch of World Cups and still win a bunch of World Cups. And I learned the whole meaning of it's a team thing. It's not me. Just because I feel like I'm doing good doesn't mean I am good. That's the other thing. Yeah. So I got into playing t-ball. Then I ended up watching. I'll get to your question, Gary. You had a good one. We'll get to yours right now. It's what's your favorite sports film? Canadian SpiderMan. What is your favorite sports film?
Oh, inspired by a great athlete. No, inspired by a great athlete and my personal hero, my dad. He was an award-winning sprinter, all around athlete. He's 76 years old. This Christmas I went back to my hometown. I can't get the puck away from him now. I'm faster than him. I cannot get the puck away from him at 76. So he's my hero. He introduced me to Slap Shot with Paul Newman. And that is my favorite.
Great movie.
Classic.
That's a good
The
one.
Hudson brothers.
Yeah.
Yes, the Hanson brothers.
Great movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it
Slap
Hanson?
Shot.
I thought it was Hudson. Hanson brothers.
Hanson,
Yeah,
the
the
Hanson
Hansons,
brothers,
yeah.
Slap Shot, and Goon is also incredible. But I want to say Slap Shot because of my dad. Yeah, he's.
And the second film is
the
actually
athlete
pretty
that's
good,
my
by the
hero.
way. The second Goon film.
I
Did you
agree.
see the second Goon film?
Yes, agreed.
I thought it was really
100%
good.
agree with that. It was. Yep, agreed. Yep. Yeah, Slap
Gary,
Shot.
what is your, since you came up with this question, what is your sports
Well,
film?
I watch a lot of sports movies, and I love Slapshot's one of my favorite films of all time.
Oh yeah.
I hated the movie Love of the Game because it's got a terrible theme. Guy wants to pitch the perfect game, and guess what he does? Wow.
Yeah.
So, but I like Moneyball. I like baseball films. But my favorite sports film of all time, period, number one is Rocky. It had the greatest impact on me personally. And it changed the way I do things. And, you know, if I were to say a documentary, because I said don't include documentaries, but if I did, it would be Pumping Iron. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger also changed my life.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone and Arnold impacted me when I was still
Arnold,
young.
We don't count Arnold as a masculine man. We don't.
Not today.
When he said screw your freedom, I was like,
that's today's Arnold. Yeah. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And look, everybody says something stupid. And I would hate, I swear to God, I would hate to be blamed for the one stupid thing I said at a party in front of a bunch of gay friends of mine that I yelled very loudly.
I hear you, but you would no. I hear you, and I agree all about that. But if you say screw your freedom, that's a whole nother level. I'm sorry,
it is.
You've crossed every fucking level there.
You're talking about 45 years of this guy having an impact on me. I'm not letting go of it.
Yeah. I will say this: that documentary is pretty cool. I do.
Yeah, Pumping Iron's amazing.
It is.
And I remember hating how he treated Lou Ferrigno. And Lou Ferrigno's dad sucking up to Arnold in that movie. Oh my God. I hated Lou Ferrigno's dad.
Simp.
Yes,
but Lou Ferrigno was in an Avengers movie. So there's that.
Yeah.
Tom, what is your favorite sports movie?
Oddly enough, I didn't want to steal from Gary because he's already mentioned it. It's the Rocky series. I love them. They're brilliant. I mean, watching the underdog come up and all of them. I like them all. I really do. We go into Creed, and we discussed this last week, if I'm not mistaken, once they removed him. And Pumping Iron, I love that because I used to love bodybuilding. You know, you get into there's Lee Haney and many other guys, but that inspired me when I was getting into pro wrestling to start working out. And I watched that at Pumping Iron. I'm like, wow, it's inspirational to watch Lou and Franco and all these guys and just, you know, the heyday of bodybuilding and where they're jacked and where they doing other stuff. Yeah, let's be honest, they probably were doing stuff too. But nowadays it's a totally different thing. But it's such an inspiring thing to watch Arnold. And I know you know, but Arnold back then was very inspiring. A guy that came with only $4 from Austria, new country, and just made a massive thing of himself. Now, what he does now, I don't know, whatever, you know. But back then, to watch this guy come to a new country and just make a huge thing of himself just by hard work, that's inspiring. You know,
and you shouldn't forgive him until he apologizes for it.
No,
he doesn't need to apologize to anyone in general. He just needs to apologize for having said it.
So, Gary, I like your output of it. Of like, you're not focused on what Arnold is now. You're more of like what he did in the
what
past.
He was, and what inspired me about him when I was younger. Because he would say things, I would read things. Because I'm not a bodybuilder, I never was. But you brought up bench press. My max bench press was 450 pounds, and I was a power lifter, and I was just a powerful dude. I'm just powerful, and my leg press 1,000 pounds was all we could get on it.
Damn.
And I pumped out like 8 reps, 3 sets, you know, and people are like, how do your legs get so powerful? I'm like, I don't know. God designed me that way. It's not like I worked out to be this strong. I'm just am. And I never wanted to work out to become, but I had a really nice build. But when I got in the Army, I was apparently big. I had 18.5-inch arms. And there's photos of me. You've seen the photo of me, haven't you? Where I'm sitting next to 2 of my buddies, and they look like children next to me. I have a man's arms and these little pencil neck dudes, and I was just powerful. And one of my best friends from the Army, he's still one of my closest friends, he was the only guy that would fight me, like fuck around fight in the barracks. And it was Godzilla versus King Kong. Which I don't know, but we were fucking huge, and we destroyed the barracks. We tore up the beds. We forced beds, and they tore up tiles. But the worst part was, I threw him at one point backwards, and I went with him into a fucking wall, and we took out the drywall, both sides.
Jeez.
And the drill sergeant came walking in and saw that, and he goes, "You know, you motherfuckers got to fix that before you graduate, right?"
But on one point of
Uh,
Arnold, one thing I'll just say, I just got back into weightlifting again, and Arnold has a press after him, the Arnold press, and it actually is a great exercise for the shoulders and upper body. So I mean, the man has
also the
impact.
upper pec, because
Yeah.
when he does that, it's working these muscles right along in here, and that's how you get that. The thing that, like, my girlfriend, you guys know my girlfriend is Anima, and
Yeah.
she's like, I do not like men with the boobs. I don't like muscular men with the boobs. And I'm like,
That's a good.
what are you talking about? And she goes, men that get really muscular but have big boobs. And I'm like, it's what happens to us men when we work out with weights. Like,
Yeah.
we're not flat. She goes, well, I like the men that are more lean and don't have the big boobs. And I'm like, oh my God, how many times are you going to say big boobs?
Make me sound like
Jeff,
a cow.
We need a meme
What-
for big boobs right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Jeff, what would be
Boobs.
your sports movie?
Well, I have a favorite and a movie I cannot stand, and I only mention it because it's actually been referenced. My favorite movie of all time is in sports field is Bull Durham.
Oh, great movie, dude. Great
Just because
movie.
Wow.
you have the Durham Bulls, you have the Hagerstown Suns in it, the A-level baseball. I actually lived next to the Hagerstown Suns Stadium and would go to every single home game for many years. So getting to know some of the players and some of the environment that was there, that movie rang so true. It's ridiculous. Now, I'm going to say something, and there's a caveat to it. This movie is well made. It is a tremendous
I'll be the
movie.
judge of that.
But I cannot stand it, is Moneyball.
See, I'm watching that tonight.
Yeah.
I'm about a quarter through the film, and I joined you guys, and I put it on pause because
Here-
I've never
here's
watched that film.
It's poorly lit.
Well, no. Here are my 3 issues with Moneyball.
Yeah.
They absolutely do not reference the 3 top-tier pitchers they had on that staff that were
Thank
otherworldly
you.
first-round draft picks.
Thank you.
Secondly,
Well, I think they disrespect. Well, you're probably going to say that. I don't.
Well, let
I
Jeff.
think they
Let Jeff.
disrespect scouting.
the second aspect of it is okay. They won that many games in a row. They really did build that team from nothing, and the strategy was brilliant. But everyone ignores the fact they didn't even win the division against my Angels.
Nope.
Damn.
That just, they can't mention that because it would ruin the movie. No, that said,
I was.
Brad Pitt is amazing in that. They did Art Howe a little dirty in that movie with his portrayal of how much reluctant he was to do Moneyball. He was actually on board with most of it. He just didn't think certain things were smart decisions, but he actually bought into a lot more than they do in the movie. That said, it is a good movie if you don't look at it as fact-based.
What do you think about Trouble with the Curve? Because I felt that it was more respectful to the scouts that do
Yes.
their job.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
I will say this about Moneyball. The only reason why I saw that movie, because you know what team won the World Series after the A's. Figure that whole genius of an idea. Do you know who won the World Series?
Yeah, 2 years later, it was the
that?
Boston Red Sox.
Yep. Yeah.
Now,
That's the only reason why. And I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed when they didn't show the Angels that whole segment. And I was like, oh, come on.
Now, to answer someone's comment in chat, I just have one reference, Gary. Or Andy. Toe pick.
Ooh.
What is that?
Oh,
Toe pick.
Andy
Oh.
Masterson? Oh, Andy
Yeah.
Masterson is chat. Who else? We have Canadian SpiderMan and Mike, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike said his. The geeky.
Mike.
Did you do yours?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought Mike.
Mike,
No.
what's your sports movie?
Okay. There's going to be actually 2 answers. Okay. One is a comedy, which is Unnecessary Roughness.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's such a
Scott
hilarious
Bakula.
movie.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Scott
No,
Bakula,
Unnecessary is an older film in the 70s. Necessary
Yeah.
Roughness is the newer film with Scott Bakula.
Yeah, sorry.
Both good
sorry.
films.
Yeah, Necessary
Both good
Roughness.
films.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Necessary
I'm a sports
Roughness.
movie guy, by the way.
Good call. Good
Yeah.
call.
So there was
Burt
that.
Reynolds.
I love that movie. It's hilarious. The other one, okay, for True Story, and I know this came out like maybe 3 years ago, but it's about NFL MVP Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner
Yeah.
and American Underdog.
Yes.
American Underdog. Yeah, with Zachary Levi. Only because I am a Zachary Levi fan, but I did want to check this movie out, and it is such a good movie. Such a good movie.
I heard that movie is pretty accurate to Kurt Warner's life.
Yeah, this is what I heard. And basically a guy that could have got somewhere, and and he didn't put the effort in. Didn't put the effort in at first. But it's just something just gnaws at him that he wants to just give it a go again. And he proves himself and he goes for like these other little kind of like minor league, I suppose you can call him, I don't know exactly what you would call him, but like tournament football shows, basically, like at rodeos and shit like that, right? And then eventually he just gets picked up, and he just goes the distance. And it's to me, it just says a lot that no matter how down and out you are at your luck, or how many times you have failed at something, just keep going at it. Eventually you're gonna succeed.
My greatest fact about Kurt
Unless
Warner
she files a restraining order
is the 3 years
that
in
too,
his NFL career, the 3 years that he played all 16 games, his team went to the Super Bowl.
Yep. I mean, here's a guy stacking shelves in a grocery store, and he makes it all the way to the NFL and MVP on top of that. Like,
and gets crushed by Tom Brady. We know the story.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Hey, just
Tom Brady is Eli
Manning's
guys... bitch, so be careful with your.
Hey,
Brady.
whoa. Let's not talk about that. How many rings does Tom Brady have?
No.
That's right, baby.
So
I know.
I do want to
Less than he
mention
should
one
because
film
Eli beat him.
because I was surprised
yeah, screw you.
that Disney could put out a quality sports film. Is Mark Wahlberg's Invincible?
Here,
is a really
okay.
good sports movie.
Ah,
Yeah,
I have one better.
I like
I
Mark
have one
Wahlberg.
better.
Okay.
I like that one. Did we get to you, Canadian Spider-Man?
Yes, I believe.
Okay, so it's just me.
Yeah, he brought up Slapshot.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Although
I actually
Field of
have,
Dreams too.
Oh.
Great film. Yeah.
Good.
So
good
the three movies I have, the three sports movies, because I'm the host, I can do three, whatever.
And your name is Steve.
Yeah, is the movie I enjoy watching every once in a while. I don't watch it as much. Is Remember the Titans. For some reason, that movie, first off, should have ended racism. It should have. That movie just flat out should have. It's probably one of the best high school football movies. I love high school football movies, by the way.
We played them, by the way. They were part of the Battlefield District.
Oh,
when I was at James Monroe. We played them.
Michael Jackson ended racism, by the way.
And that shit doesn't really come close to what really happened, by the way. It's a fictional account of what happened.
Yeah.
But I grew up right after desegregation in Fredericksburg. And I grew up in the black neighborhood. I was like the only white kid for blocks. And I was just quite comfortable in the black community. They were just so kind to me as a kid. Most of my friends, when I first got there, they treated me like I was one of them. And 100%. In fact, one of my childhood best friends, black kid, came on our show, Pop Culture Minefield, and he says, yeah, we all took a vote, and we all agreed that Gary was an adopted black.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, they didn't. But thank you, but no, that
that's
never
cool.
happened.
So Garrett, I have to ask you because I grew up right outside of Baltimore.
Oh, you're not far from where I grew up.
No,
Because you know where
so
Fredericksburg is, right?
100% just north of Richmond.
That's where I grew up.
Yeah, I grew up basically Frederick, Hagerstown, little places here and there.
Anne
yeah,
Arundel
we
County.
yeah we grew up with. We all had our nicknames. Like everyone I knew in that area, even though we were all ran different circles, had our one black friend named Junebug. You know,
I did not.
Okay,
I
it
did not
was,
know anybody with that nickname.
but it was
But I
so
knew a lot of
weird.
Washingtons and Jeffersons.
Yes, and it was so funny because what would be taken today as racism
Mm.
wasn't back then. Like I was state champion in the 50, 100, and 200, and when we were playing on the playground, every time we were playing football, and I called the pass and ran, for touchdown, all the kids would be like, "Brother, you really letting that white boy beat you?" But it wasn't like today. That'd be like, "Oh my God, are you allowed
I
to?"
can't believe you said that.
Yeah,
People are
back then
still.
it was everyone would just bust a gut, and
Everybody's
and like,
pussies are too sensitive today.
yeah, and like you
Please.
said, everyone was like, no,
Yeah.
no, Jeff's cool. It is, but it is that way. It's
They didn't get
it's
bullied
so
enough in school.
Yeah, when I
it's
grew up,
hilarious.
the only racial epithets I heard were from black guy to black guy.
Yes,
the one
100%.
time that it happened when I was 14. I was 14. It was my last year at Babe Ruth League.
Mhm.
And I was with Moose Lodge. That was my team. We had big, ugly yellow jerseys.
Elk,
And
purple and yellow.
I had the water cooler, ice thing, and I'm walking over towards it. And my buddy Vic that I just mentioned, that's been on our show, he's walking next to me, and he was always talking to me. He was just a talkative little nerdy baseball kid. And he was like talking to me. And then all of a sudden I went to go over the fence, and I got the cooler on there, and it blocked me from hearing. As I was coming up on the fence, I heard some commotion, but what I heard was the sound of wet meat twice. That was the sound of this one kid being punched in the jaw, and it shattered his jaw. And then the sound of him hitting the concrete of the dugout. And I saw Frankie go down, and the other kid, Lance Ellis, who's still a close friend of mine today, the coach was the dad of the kid he knocked out. And he went up over his fence in the dugout and went after Lance, and Lance was too fast, man. That dude, like a 440, man. That guy was fast. And he just jumped over the fence and ran through the woods all the way to where he lived, in the other part of Fredericksburg. And I did not know what had been said until later. And Vic was one who told me, said that, yeah, he says, you think you're good at baseball because you're an inward. And that's when Lance just knocked the shit out of him. And I remind people that as bad as that sounded, it was immediate punishment for what he did.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Wow. They weren't afraid anymore to stand up for themselves. And that's why we in Fredericksburg were so proud of the fact that we didn't have that problem.
Yep.
That racial problem. And that's why when I saw the Titans, it really kind of played up what wasn't true. It was true previously, but not by the time they desegregated.
Yeah.
It had changed by that point.
The movie, I know the movie's not historically accurate like Braveheart. Some people
it's a great film. Denzel's wonderful in it.
It's great. The second film, I should say, series is the Rocky series.
Yeah.
The Rocky? Yeah.
Ooh,
I sent I don't know if Stallone ever
ending at 3.
Well, no, I go all the way to Rocky Balboa.
I ended at 3.
I'll go to Rocky
I started
Balboa.
back up with Rocky Balboa, but
because
4
Rocky
and
Balboa
5 were, I don't know.
We can forgive.
I'll take you on, bitch. Come on, let's go.
I like 4.
The thing I like about Rocky 1 and Rocky Balboa is there was a point a few years ago before I joined Pop Culture Breakdown. I dealt with depression, and I started watching the Rocky movies, because I got it for Christmas. I got all the Rocky movies and all the Rambo movies. I'm a huge Stallone fan.
Right.
He's also a brother. His brother is also a Freemason. What's up, brother Frank Stallone? And watching Rocky, if anyone wants to understand what it is to be an underdog, Rocky is the perfect example. Because when you get to Rocky Balboa, that's when Stallone starts doing his Sunday service speech, his monologue. When life hits you hard, that whole thing when he does with his son, that's when it hit me. And I DM'd Stallone and on Instagram, and there's no reply back. And I just said, dude, you got me out of depression for just your movies alone. I ended up watching his documentary on Netflix 4 times. I'm like, dude,
it was really good. It was so much better than Arnold's.
Oh yeah,
Arnold's got preachy at the end of his, and I was like, I'm done. The first 2 episodes good. Fuck that.
I fell asleep. But my third movie, this is when I realized I'm athletic to a certain point. I love The Warrior. The 2011 UFC.
Very good film, yeah.
So I ended up watching it, and before I met my wife, I was dating someone else at the time, and this was about like a few years before I met my wife. And I told the girl I was dating at the time, I was like, I think I'm gonna go into UFC. She's like, why? There was an actual emotional reaction of that movie that I love that movie so much because it's 2 brothers fighting. They're on the same page but fighting for different reasons. And the end of that movie, I weep because it reminds me of my younger brother and I. And those are the 3 movies I like. I will, before we get to Tip of the Hat, I know we'll run a little bit later. But I'll answer this question real quick, and we'll get to Tip of the Hat. The third question I have is, what life lessons can guys learn from sports? The thing I can say about sports for guys is take away the participation trophies. It is a way that builds characters. It's a way that just
losing
because
part
you're
of
on
the process.
Team, exactly. If you get into a situation where I think the best situation is if you're on a team that loses more than they do winning, you understand what team building is. You understand what the characteristics of I'm with a bunch of dudes or co-ed, whatever the situation is. You understand what team is. Now, if you're with, like, let's say a team like New England Patriots that wins when Tom Brady was playing for the New England Patriots, wins every goddamn time. Thank you.
Except against Eli Manning.
You bring this up every time. You did it when we did the last sports thing. Look,
you lose to the worst Manning.
Oh man,
you can't argue it. That's what's hilarious.
I know, but here's the thing: 7 rings, 7 rings over 4 rings. I'll take it. But when guys or girls that deal with winning all the time and then they lose, here's a better example with Tom Brady when he lost against the Giants in 2008, right? Yeah. Sure. And 2004, it was 2008. I remember that. I was in LA when that happened. He didn't let it get to him. And then he goes on and wins more. Yeah, they lost twice. But that's a little rare. When you deal with a team that you've won every single time, you're comfortable. Here's the thing. Sports should allow you to be uncomfortable. If you lose, it's okay. It's okay. Like, it happens. You're not perfect. You're not the greatest athlete. But just to understand, when you lose, you start building as a character because then you go into practice and then you start being like, hey, how can we actually be better? I think when you go into life lessons, when you get out of sports, when you get to a certain age, you're like, you know what? I'm done with sports. I want to live in the real world. Those things that you learned when you get coaches that are hard on you, you start taking that in life. And you get a thick skin. You're not a thin skin. I post this on Twitter. Guys should be more thick skinned when it comes to insults and roasting and all that stuff.
Yes.
And then I get a text in
And
the
stop
morning.
walking
at like
around
5
with
in the
sand in
morning.
their vaginas. I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How insecure are you for fuck?
Yeah, it's like like my dad, I never grew up hearing "I'm proud of you." Never did. Not even any of my dad, my first stepdad, and then my second dad. I never heard that, so I don't understand that. But I understand the reason why dads are hard on their sons the most is because they want them to build character. That's the important thing out of the whole entire thing of sports with guys, especially, is we're building character, because you're not going to do this for the rest of your life. You're going to do it for maybe 20 years, 15 years, whatever it is, maybe 30. If you're Tom Brady, you're going to do it for 100 fucking years. I don't know. The guy's perfect. But there's a certain point where you just kind of leave sports, and then you've learned all this life skills of how to be a man. And that's what's important, is you understand if someone cuts you off, it's like, hey, I can be cool, calm, collective, no worries.
Yeah.
Or if someone's trying to push you at a bar, it's like, hey, look, I know I can take this guy. I'm not going to do it. That's why UFC fighters, they're so calm. Some are, not all. Some are. They're like, hey, I could take you out in 10 seconds, maybe even less. It's this whole, you built this entire characteristic around you that's like, I can take on life no matter what. It's like when Stallone, he's like, when life hits you hard, it's how you get up. It's, the world is not all sunshines and rainbows, as Stallone says. I love Stallone. Yep. I will quote him. He really
does. Of all of the athletes who became actors and played athletic characters, he has some of the best life lessons. But life lessons what you learn from sports. I'm going to give you 3 perfect examples of lessons I learned from my dad through sports. One, taught me, because my dad coached me a lot in sports. He was even in my ring, because I was managed by world welterweight champion from the 1950s. And when I was a teenager, and I was serious about boxing until I went to Richmond and met all the black kids. And I'm like, I'm out. Oh, shit.
See you guys.
They're serious. I'm like, I'm just doing this because it's fun. This is their life. I'm out. It scared the shit out of me.
Then you met Mike Tyson and be like, hey, I'm out.
I met a guy that was a Marine who had no neck. It was all shoulder. It went from shoulder and head. And I hit him so hard it broke my wrist. And I went, and he just shook it off. And I'm like, fuck, I've never hit anybody as hard. I just hit that guy, and I broke my wrist on this guy's head. It scared the hell out of me. But the 3 lessons I learned from my dad that I use with my day-to-day life was never let them see you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Great lesson from sports. Don't let them see you sweat. 2, never show off. First lesson was make the easy plays look easy and the harder plays even easier. And that's it right there. That guy gave my dad's, and it's funny because Anna, my girlfriend, thought it was hilarious that my life lessons from my dad were all from sports. And I'm like, yeah, because he wasn't the best dad, but he was a great coach.
Yeah. So
awesome coach.
2 things, if you don't mind, quickly. The biggest thing,
maple syrup
is the biggest
thing is
you learn team building things with most sports, because most sports,
Yeah.
like they say, there's no I in team. I always love that saying, because you learn to work with people, even though you might not like people, you still learn to work with people, and that's a good thing for people to learn. Second one, for individual sports like MMA, and a good example I always bring is George St. Pierre. I have a friend that knows him or met him. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's very humble, but yeah, he's a true badass. He's one of the great fighters, but he never let it go to his head. He's such a humble gentleman still, and he just stayed cool. So it proves that you can be a big star and big time, and he stayed humble though, and that's somebody you can admire. Like, wow, he's still a humble, really nice guy, genuine. So there's things to be learned from things like that. So yeah.
But on that note, we all know Conor McGregor's the best UFC fighter. He's Irish.
Not a very good actor, but a very good athlete.
Hey, I liked him in Roadhouse.
I'll say that.
I like him in Roadhouse. He's funny when he
I
walks
hated that
in.
movie.
Here's the thing. We'll get to tip of the hat next, but I'll say this about Roadhouse. I know they're doing a sequel, and I know a lot. Like Tom Connors was like, "Well, why all this stuff?" Here's the thing. People, it's weird how film has changed, and we'll talk about it after the show, and I can explain this a little bit more. No, it's not. But here's the thing. People don't care about original content anymore when it comes to film. They just want to see, like, I grew up on Roadhouse. When I saw the new Roadhouse, I was like, hey, it's nothing like the original one, but it's entertaining.
It's a popcorn film.
That's the thing. It is. So when Conor McGregor shows up,
name it something different.
He's like Gina Carano.
He's hilarious.
Not the best actor in the world, but at least he's having fun.
Yes.
And from what I heard from when Jake Gyllenhaal fought in the ring in one of the scenes, if anyone hasn't seen it, they actually do a UFC fight ring.
Yeah.
The guy he was fighting is an actual fighter. And he's like, hit me. I don't care. Hit me. They actually were hitting each other. Like, that's the other thing.
They're losing. They were going at it about 50%, but they were hitting each other.
Oh, good. There's a scene where Conor actually hits him on screen, and you see Jake
Stallone did that shit too.
Oh, yes. Dude. Let's not get
almost killed him.
That's what you do.
Heart problems. But on that note, we're gonna get
Alec
to
Baldwin.
Can I before you go tip of the hat? Can I make a couple things with life lessons in sports?
Yes, go for it.
Losing is winning, and winning is losing. And that's a paraphrase, because the more you lose, the more you learn. Therefore, the more you win. When all you do is win, you don't learn as much as you do by losing. So winning can sometimes be a loss. Yeah. And I'll go quick here. Little League. First year, we had 4 years of Little League. First year, we won 4 games. Second year, we won 7 years. Now, the first year, there were 6 of us on a 15-person team that were brand new to baseball. So 4 wins, 7 wins. The third year, we won 11. But that last year, when the 6 kids that were new in those 4 years, we went 19-1. It's that lesson you build. Later in life, when I'm at a tournament in Winchester, Virginia, facing former Capitals and Penguins players, and they're getting breakaways against my team because my team absolutely sucked ass when it came to defending, and I faced 14 2-1 nuns or 2-1-1s against me, and I ended up giving up 6 goals out of those 14 chances. A lot of people would have been angry, which I was, because my defense sucked, but you immediately go back and go, why did these guys who are next tier, the one tier above me, why were they so effective at beating me so frequently? And by understanding where they beat me, where I lost, only then was I able to elevate my own game even further than it was already, because I all of a sudden saw what my weakness was when it came on 2-1 nuns and 2-1-1s, because I had always cheated, especially on 2-1-1s. I'd often would leave a spot open because, bragging moment, my opponents were often inferior to my skill. But when I faced opponents that were equal skill or above skill, all of a sudden those little holes I was trying to tempt people to shoot at were now being abused like it was a rented mule and redheaded. So, you take that lesson after that game and you go, oh, crap. Okay, let's work on that. Let's make that hole that you were leaving open maybe a little smaller, but let's still leave it a little bit tempting. But know that against the better talent, you have to know that you have to increase your speed, you increase your game. But it was by being thoroughly beaten did I ever see how bad that hole I was leaving open actually was.
Yeah.
I have a 10-second answer to that question, Steve, if I can have my turn.
You won.
10
2,
seconds. Oh,
3.
I had the most fun ever. Was on a team. We lost every single game we played at the tournament. It was a 4-day tournament at a beach town locally. It was hot as hell. We had a shopping cart we found in the we acquired from the local grocery store. It had more booze. We had a few bats and a few softball gloves, but mostly booze. And we would show up at 6 a.m. and we would do 25-member team double Caesars to start the morning. And we'd shotgun the other team to get them. We lost every single game. The best time we ever had. The umpires came to our campsite to party. We had inflatable unicorn sex and fights because we had inflatables because we were at a lake. It was great. Best time I ever had. But we lost every single game and everyone loved. We cheered when the other teams made great plays. We cheered for them.
Yeah.
Best time I ever had. That's it, Steve.
Oh,
Thank you.
Good camaraderie. That's what that's.
Yeah,
So
I gotta agree with that.
Yeah. I think when you're on a team, just have fun losing. Like if I go golfing, dude, I'm the Bill Murray. I'm just gonna say a bunch of random stupid things and just hope to God it makes it in. But we're gonna get to
say stupid things randomly. Isn't that not just when you're playing golf, but other times?
It's pretty much the show, right?
Yeah.
It's every day with me. Anyways, we're gonna get to Tip the Hat. So tip of the hat is society hates men. Let's just be honest. They don't like men. They Ghostbusters 2016, for example. Chris Hemsworth, they just made fun of him. You're on our praise it, you know. I've had a bunch of people like, what about some women? I was like, nah, it's all about the men. So here's the thing. If you don't know the person, it's okay. We're not going to judge you. Here's a little tidbit, everyone. You all have a computer in front of you. Google. You can Google the person's name. I know some, except Canadian SpiderMan. He's on his own. He's all like, I don't have a computer. I use a fax machine.
I barely have enough internet to stream to you.
It's all cool. So I'll pick out maybe 1, 2, 3 names, depending on it is. But we like to do something positive about their masculinity. It could be a comedian, politician, which is very slim pickings. I should put Trump's name in here again because
can we put all of our dads in here?
Dads?
Yeah.
We could. If you want to, I mean, it's just going to be you. But we could do that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Father's Day.
Father's Day. Exactly. Yes, Jeff. Yeah. Let's do that for Father's Day. We'll do our dads in tip of the hat. Good, and we'll go through that.
Let's have a competition. Who can brag the most about their dad? For Father's Day. Who can brag the most about their dad?
All right, Canadian SpiderMan. Challenge.
Or a fictitious dad, like Sylvester Stallone, if you wanted.
My dad's Trump, so screw you guys. Jeff's like, Gary's like, what? Huh?
Mr. Cliff Huxtable.
But the first name is and also some names will be military people. David Goggins.
Global Commander.
Here's your time to look him up. I know Tom's looking him up right now. Let's go with Gary.
And I'm supposed to tell a story about my dad?
No. The name that we
David Goggins.
David Goggins.
That's it. Unless your dad is David Goggins.
No, he's a cool dude. Dave Goggins been on Joe Rogan a lot. I love the guy. Former Navy SEAL, badass. But what am I supposed to say about him?
Anything positive about him masculinity.
Well, when it comes, look, the guy's very athletic. I like his training program, but really, when it comes down to it, is he was on a team that betrayed him. And he didn't let it stop him. And he fought and fought until he came out on top. And everybody that went up against him was proven to be liars. One by one. He challenged them, because they had the comfort of ganging up, you see. And I love guys that do that. Like, just don't give up. Don't quit. Don't back down. Never surrender.
Yeah.
So
Mike.
That's my one good thing about him. Okay, I've never done this tip of the hat thing. It sounds kind of gay, but I'll stick with it.
Nah.
It works.
All I know him from is that he's like, I don't know, a marathon runner or ultra. I've never heard of an ultra marathon runner. And
that's I just found that out the other day, dude. It's insane.
See, I didn't even know that about him. I just know what he was as a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, well, I heard he was a Navy SEAL, but I guess he's a public speaker as well. And I thought he was just a marathon runner, but apparently it's like an ultra marathon.
Yeah,
runner,
he did. He was a speaker at that lesser known Todd Talks.
Oh, yeah. Lesser known Todd Talks. And as I think he's inducted in the Sports Hall of Fame or something like that. So
was he?
He got in there.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I know about the guy. So,
all right,
but yeah.
Canadian SpiderMan. Even though you probably don't have a computer, do you know what that is?
Yeah, no, David Goggins, man, he would play an excellent live action Miles Morales. The man is jacked. He's and I think, he's got the charisma because of his experience in sales. I mean, of course, he was first a Navy SEAL, and that builds your confidence. And then this ultra, he's done like 70 ultra marathon or ultra competitions, insane dedication. And the guy's body is his tempo clearly. So I think he's the dedication it takes to commit to something like that is incredible. I mean, I'm sure he hasn't tried all of the new Doritos flavors. This one is pickle and Cool Ranch combination. So when you're a man like that, the dedication and the commitment required is just insane. And my hat's off to him for that. That is something that all men can learn. That commitment and dedication to build a body like that. And it doesn't have to be physical. It can be your career. It can be your mental. But
it's absolutely a spiritual thing.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
So I just looked it up. It's in the simplest terms, an ultra marathon is any race that is longer than the marathon distance of 26.2 miles.
Wow.
I think he went 3 days straight of just running. Like, this dude is a beast. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, didn't he tell Joe Rogan one time that he had run so far, he just had lost the ability not to run. He just kept going. Isn't that the guy that told that story? He just kept going.
Huh.
Yeah,
like
it was ridiculous. That happened masturbating.
He hit a zone that just crazy. I missed it. What'd you say?
Never. It wasn't valuable. Never
No, it was. It
God
was.
damn it! I want to laugh too.
It really was. Anyway.
Oh,
God damn it! I hate it when I miss a joke.
I know.
I said the same thing happened masturbating to me once.
Oh, there you go. Get into a zone. It's like,
You
you know what?
And you just
I can
can't
do it
stop,
4
man.
times.
Linda Carter in your head, man. Jenny Agutter. I mean, Jesus.
Just drink a lot of protein drinks and Mountain Dew. You can
Ain't
go 4 or
nothing gonna
5
break
times.
my stride.
So, Tom,
Me
back on
down.
track.
Oh,
Back on
no.
track. Tom,
well,
anything masculine about
No, I'm gonna
David
say
Goggins?
I actually just joined his Instagram. I want to follow this guy. I don't know anything about him, but I'm inspired by the sound of you guys. The story. I'm actually want to learn about him. He sounds like he's in a really interesting story. So I'm actually following him now. So
Go
yeah.
look up Joe Rogan and David Goggins.
Oh, nice. I
and
will.
look
'Cause I
at
like
their
Joe
interviews.
stuff. So yeah.
Amazing interviews.
Nice. I want to see this now because he seems like an inspiring guy. Like, and he is jacked. Holy gee, just like wow. But he sounds like his story is quite inspiring. So yeah, I'm gonna follow him now and find out more about him. It's like, yeah, that is a cool story. So, see, I've been taught something from this here.
I love the music he did for Top Gun. What? Oh, wait,
Shut
that's
up.
Kenny Loggins. I'm sorry.
Shut up.
Honestly, I
knew you
never
were
heard of the
going
dude
there.
until tonight. So I have nothing.
He was great in Fallout.
So one of the
my
things about
God.
David Goggins is he told on Joe Rogan that he ran 200 plus mile.
Yeah, that's
like-
the interview I'm talking about where he got into his own and just kept running. And
It's
it
like
was just
Forrest
crazy.
Gump. That's real
That's
life.
listening to Forrest Gump. He just didn't stop.
It's the thing about David Goggins is he's determined. Like he grew up overweight and then he became this guy who doesn't know what it means to stop. And that's the thing that we can learn. And we'll do one more tip of the hat because we're running a little late, but it's okay. Is the thing about David Goggins is he is the, like, we look at movies like Rocky, Commando, Terminator, all these movies, The Warrior, like
He's a
all
real
these
life
movies that we look up, like that we look up to, like, wow, I want to be that person. But then you get David Goggins, who pretty much just puts everyone to shame because of his determination. Is I don't know his end result. I don't know the reason why he does it. He just does what he does.
Is he like a modern Bruce Lee almost?
Yeah, it's if you the thing
And it's
about
a real
David
life
Goggins.
thing too. So
Yeah, it's the thing about David Goggins is he shows guys, hey, anything is possible. Yeah, you could run 200 miles if you're crazy enough, but in that it shows nothing is going to stop me. Yeah, my shoes are going to fall apart if I keep running, but I'm going to keep running. It's the thing about guys is life hits us hard and we have to keep pushing. We can't let life discourage us, bring us down. We have to keep pushing no matter how heavy it's going to get. We'll do one more tip of the hat and then we'll close it out, guys.
Because it always gets better eventually.
Yeah.
Rain all the
Oh,
time.
here's another guy. This is a mixed one. Jocko Wilkin.
I've actually talked to him.
Okay, so here's your time. We'll get to you, Gary, but here's your time to start looking them up, Tom and Mike. Because Mike has a look of like, who the crap is that guy?
No,
Gary,
it sounds familiar.
he's a soldier.
go.
He's a former Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
And in fact, the reason I talked to him is because of Vindicated Inc. And he had a quote that I really liked, and it's on the Vindicated website by Jocko, and just a fucking brilliant comment about soldiering. And now Jocko's great, dude. He's difficult to really nail down, though, and because he's so busy. And I've tried to nail him down to do an interview with him. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. But the guy is a great warrior, and again, like Goggins, because I think they are friends. Him and Goggins, as I recall, and they have a very similar way of approaching things that I really like. which is it's once again the no retreat, no surrender. Go, let's go.
Mhm.
And when you get with
Yeah.
warriors, that is a general thing that you will see. It's let's go, let's go. It's just whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Let's just do this, do the best you can, and go at it. And I just love that about the guy. And again, I believe he's been on Joe Rogan a few times too. And
I don't know if he has, but
I believe
can look-
it's because he does a lot of the top-notch shows, and it seems like he's been on there. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, he has been.
Yeah.
He has been. Yeah.
Okay. And Mike, are you still looking? Are you still doing a search?
No, not really.
His book is really good too, The High Ground Principle.
No, I do want to read that.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never heard of this guy before. So yeah, I mean, retired Navy officer. If I got the right guy. So
Yeah.
former member of Navy SEAL Team 3. Dang, this guy looks like a beast.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Like he really looks like a beast. Like, geez, I wouldn't want
That's
to
the
cross
kind of
this
guy you
like,
want in the
ever.
Navy SEAls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? So,
Imagine the Viet
Like-
Cong seeing that guy coming. Jeez.
damn, this guy give buddy that plays Reacher a run for his money, I think. So,
Oh, dude,
hands
he is
down.
so beefy.
So,
He's like just
yeah,
muscle on top of muscle. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
What he looks like.
exactly. Man, got
Tom.
a tree trunk for a neck. Holy crap!
Don't know much about him, but again, I'll go into the SEAL. No, the two Navy SEAls. Some of those guys. Well, they're some of the badass guys in the. They're training to be hard-willed to drive through no matter what, never stop. I mean, and that's why you're gonna be inspired by anybody who can last and be a Navy SEAL. These guys are some of the best of the best. I mean, I bring up another one, Jesse Ventura. I don't know if you know who that is, but he was a SEAL.
Yeah.
And, I'm a big fan of his and what he stands for in a lot of things. But yeah,
Yeah,
this
they
guy
tried to bust him on that, saying that, well, he was underwater demolitions. It's like he graduated buds.
Yeah,
That means
exactly.
he's a SEAL dipshit.
Yes, exactly.
Ah,
But yeah, this guy looks like a badass. I wouldn't, and he's
Say that
quite
to his
inspiring.
face.
So yeah,
even
Yeah.
a children's book, Mikey and
Really?
the Dragons.
that is awesome. See,
Wow.
Doesn't matter. You can be a badass, whatever. And hey, I'm gonna do a kid's book. There you go.
Way
See,
of the Warrior Kid. Oh,
That
this
is awesome,
guy
man.
sounds like a peach, man. I love this.
So
So,
what I
I gotta
like
check
about
this
him,
out.
I know some people say that he's doom and gloom, but his philosophy that discipline equals freedom, that's a hard pill for some people to swallow, perhaps, especially this modern snowflake age. But discipline does equal freedom. I'm sorry, I've experienced that in my own personal life.
Yep.
Discipline equals freedom. That's what he advocates, from what little I know, and I got to support anyone that says that. Clearly, he's shown that with himself. Yeah, that goes on a lot of levels: mentally, physically, financially. If people had more financial discipline now, they'd have more freedom. If people had more discipline as to what they shoved down their faces and how many kilometers they ran a day, they'd have more freedom as to how many gymnastics they can do at the end of the day. People would have more freedom intellectually if they would discipline themselves to not just accept everything that it's like a giant funnel that comes down their way. Have the discipline to analyze everything that you're exposed to and really critically, intellectually think about what you're being told. So discipline equals freedom is what apparently this man advocates, and I think every man can and look up to him and learn from that.
Jeff.
I don't know how you managed it. Pick two Navy SEAls I've never heard of before.
Oh, okay. So this is what you should do.
Well, no.
Go.
See, I
Okay.
know Navy SEAls.
Charlie Sheen.
Pick two I don't know.
Oh,
I actually
like-
joined most of their Instagrams. I'm gonna follow them now. I'm
Like,
there.
I can give you a friend of mine's book who is a Navy SEAL. He's an amazing dude, amazing friend. But you've mentioned two I don't know. So instead of mentioning him, I'm going to pump up another former Navy
Okay.
SEAL,
Mhm.
Thomas Shea.
He sounds familiar.
He wrote the book Unbreakable. He was also involved in the Bo Bergdahl incident. I'm actually more friends with his wife than him, but that's a whole other different story.
Ooh,
But
dude, tell.
great dude. No, just we run in similar
Yeah.
circles.
Sure.
She and he are great company. She actually is highly political now, but his book Unbreakable and some of the stuff he does 24-hour runs and things like that sound a lot like what the two Navy SEALs that you've mentioned previously do the same thing. So it sounds like these gentlemen, if I'm to make an assumption, and I know what that means, but if I were to make an assumption, there are a lot of good Navy SEALs, present and former, who are just inspirations to men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Jocko is I've heard some controversial things about him. Just, I guess, people who didn't get a good experience of talking with him, they're like, I'm just going to badmouth him. The thing about Jocko is I follow him on Instagram. He does this like 4 a.m. crap that I would never be able to do because at 4 a.m. I just want to sleep. But he is, like what Canadian SpiderMan said, is disciplined. He is probably
That's right.
the most disciplined person I know or ever heard of, I should say. And
Spock.
it's so you guys mentioned Star Trek stuff. I don't have the sound bites ready for it.
Spock is
you
very
guys are pitching
Spock is
You
very
guys are pitching
disciplined.
Yeah. The thing about Jocko is he's very disciplined in the sense of do this. Don't, even if you feel like life is just blah, keep doing it. Because here's the thing, life can wait. You're trying to improve yourself. And I think David Goggins and Jocko are probably the two most inspirational. If you guys haven't checked them out, go check those guys out. Definitely David Goggins and Joe Rogan, and just watch that podcast of them. And I think Jocko was with Joe Rogan. Watch those interviews of those guys. You get a sense of, wow, I can accomplish anything. Maybe not to their level, but you can accomplish something. And it's how they explain it. It's very simple. It's just, you gotta have to do it. But on that note, I want to thank everyone who was part of this show. This episode was a lot of fun. I loved it. Just talking trash sports a little bit and stuff. I want to thank Mike, Canadian SpiderMan, Tom, Jeff, Gary for joining us for the first time. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Gary. Yes.
I know this Saturday, I'm starting a new show. It's live at 3 p.m. Yes, we get it. You Canadian hockey team. You're never going to win a Stanley Cup. We get it. Whoopie-doo. Whoopie-doo. You guys created the sport, and guess what, baby? America's better at it.
Ooh, I don't know.
Half your team is Canadian. Literally half your team is Canadian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
In Russian.
baseball is like 75% Dominican Republic and Cuban.
That is true.
So,
Yeah, sure.
But this Saturday,
They run
I'm not
fast.
doing a Lego build. I'm doing a show, a brand new show, and I have I had his name up here. Rob Wright, who's on Pop Culture Breakdown. He's going to join me, and I think Brandon, the animator guy, is going to join me on this. I'm starting a show called Men of God. It's where it's a little bit different, where it's not vulgar or anything. It's just us going through scriptures in the Bible, and we just talk about it. And it's just something that's been on my heart. And I'm like, you know what? I know there's some guys out there that want to get into that. So we're going to start that up, see how that goes. And then
Good for you.
Awesome.
the week after that. So I'm switching out Lego builds and this new show every other week kind of thing. And I think this is going to be interesting to see where it goes. I know a lot of guys are like, I want to be on. I got a lot of questions. Like, whoa, I'm not a pastor. I might get pastors on. Who knows? But next week, I don't know what the topic's going to be, but if you want, you can check out I guess it's not Twitter anymore, it's X. I'm gonna get used to that. If you go to X and not Rancor Steve, you'll see about Friday or Saturday I'll have a update of what the next episode is going to be. I usually talk to the guys after the show and then I'll get the promo going. Yeah, this has been a fun episode. I know we've done this I think 2 times, and this is the 3rd time or the 2nd time talking sports. I know we're going to do a firearms episode again. Get Tyrone on the show and have him on, and because he really wants to be on. He missed out. He's all like, man, I missed this.
He's good shit. Yeah, let's get him on again.
You guys, it's when you guys get a Australian.
I'll give my spot to have him on.
Oh no, you'll be on. Don't worry. And then in I think June, we're gonna do a Freemason episode. So there'll be some Freemasons on this one. So Freemasons will take over Man-O-Rama for a night. That's always fun. Conspiracies, baby. Bring it on. That's all I have planned coming up with Man-O-Rama. If you ever want any updates, or if you ever want to contact me and just talk, you can find me on Not Rancor Steve. My DM's open. If anybody wants to talk about anything, just don't be afraid. And yeah, on that note, I always
Tom Brady is Eli Manning's bitch.
You know, it's been what, 20 years? It's okay. It's okay. Hey, guess what?
Let it go.
When was the last time the Angels won a World Series?
2002.
Yeah, guess what? That's been a little too long.
It'll be 3002 before they win another one, so I'm okay with that.
It'll be 1,000 years before. And the Red Sox have won more. What, it's okay. But on that note, I always like to have our special guest, who I can never have on the show, give a send-off, and it is the former president.
And we say bye-bye.
All right, guys. I'll catch you guys next week. Or this Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific time.
Wayne Gretzky.
Specific time.